So in this video, we're going to set up the irrigation for the two gardens, or at least half of it anyway. I'll explain more about that later. First things first, need to get rid of that. So that's that part done. That was so much better. Now I'm thinking, to make it easier setting up irrigation, and just in general, this whole fence here needs to go. So that has actually changed the whole look of this garden. Now, plan is finally get irrigation set up. As I said earlier, this will be like 90% of it done. So we'll get it set up so that we've got irrigation to the beds over there, irrigation to the beds over there, but they'll end at a hose connection at the gate. So then each day or every other day, more closer to every day at the moment, as we start to warm up, I come out, hook up this pump to the tanks, and then connect it to the irrigation, leave it for 2 hours, and then come back and turn it off. Because until I can rip down this shed over here and rebuild this a bit better, and I'm going to put the tanks in that area along with the pump so they're away from the dogs, then it'll be more of a permanent setup. But we'll set up in a way so that basically once that's done, all I have to do is run a little bit of extra line for the other two, and it's set. That being said, since buying all this and planning it the other night, I planned it the other night, tired as, I got this little voice in my head. I think I may have bugged up my planning, I'm not sure. So I'm going to go through the fittings and make sure I've got all the bits and pieces. But for the most part, we'll get it set up. I'm not entirely sure if I've quite got enough drip emitters as well, but we'll see. So I've gone through all the fittings I bought, and I'm still not entirely sure if I got the right ones or the amount I need. I should have bought extra, so I knew what I've got to play with. But essentially, you want to run your bigger line all the way to the beds and then drop it down to your, well, that's 13 mil irrigation pipe. We go down to like 4 mil, the really small stuff. That way you're mitigating the chance of losing pressure before you get to your beds. The bigger the pipe, the more flow and capacity it's going to have, and you won't lose pressure. That being said though, this pump's capable of producing 1,000 kPa kilopascals of pressure, which this irrigation, drip irrigation, only needs 100. So now I'm going to put this pump together, put this together, cut all the lines out, because we know that's what's going to go into the bed and how it's going to get to the bed. I know that much. It's just where I'm going to switch from the 19 to the 13. I haven't quite figured out how I want to do it. But once I have it all laid out and get a better visual representation of what we're going to do, then I'll figure out what fittings I need and how I'm going to do it. I'm going to lie these down on each bed so I can get a better picture of what we want, and then lay out the black one, the 19 mil to feed to it, and then I'll figure out what fittings. I have a feeling I don't have the right fitting, well not the right fittings, but not enough. I'm not sure.
Which fittings?
I don't know yet, that's why I want to lay everything out.
Okay.
Yeah. What's going on here? What have I done here? Okay, milady? Look down.
Sorry, I'm over the ferry. Yeah.
So that gives us 1, 2,
3, 4.
8, 16 litres for that one. That's not bad. Okay. Alright. Quickly do this. Oh no!
What?
I just grabbed I think one of the lines for this bed and cut it. I thought I grabbed a roll.
Okay, so we need to cut one more long length.
Oh, dang it. Alright, so I think we've figured it out. Now we just need to lay out the fittings to make sure we've got the right fittings for everything. But basically we will be coming from the pump to here for now. From here, it'll tee off and go into these two lines here, which will go across up to the end there and end at a 19mm black poly pipe, which will then jump across to that bed, the brassicas, and feed that one. At the feed pipe here, that will jump across to the potato bed and feed all those guys. 19mm black poly pipe will come across to here. I'll put it underneath these pavers. From there, we'll go across to these three beds to feed those. Go up there, tee off to those three beds, and then up further and finish in that bed and then fill out the native bed. I'll end the line here, the 19mm here, with something so that later I can sort the passion fruit out, and I want to put a big in-ground bed just here because I'm starting to realize I don't have enough beds. And basically we're doing this when the pump and everything ends up over there in the tanks where that shed is. I can then run a water line from the frame of the shed, or what will be the wall there, along this fence here and down to where the original feed started. Essentially mitigating everything, well, having to change too much later on down the track and just adding a little bit extra line. So now go through, lay out all the fittings where I'll need them to be and see if we've got enough. So it'll be just a hose there, and then it'll be a 19 elbow here to that bed, or no, I'll do a T, and then I just wait.
For the...
So we can go 19 here, here, or a T here. I forgot about that bed.
Corn.
The corn, yeah.
Can't forget the corn.
So if we do another T here,
Yeah.
straight reducer to a 13 with a 13 elbow up, 13 elbow in. So then from that one, you need a 13 up, in, over. So it'll be 1, 2, oops. It's a lot of elbows. I feel like it's unnecessary. A lot of elbows to go up and over these little curbs and then back down into the garden if you want to make it look nice. Tees all the way and end with an elbow. So I'm going to need what, 10? No. 9 30mm tees in here, across, up, over, and then you'd have 1, 2, 3 tees, and then finishing with an elbow, 19mm elbow, 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 13mm T, 13mm T, and a 13mm T, and then that would go to 2 elbows to a T. See that? To a T. Okay, so it's the next day. Got part way into sorting out the water lines and everything. I just lost all steam. It was getting late by that point, so had to go inside and cook dinner and all that sort of stuff. But, so this is what I got to. 19mm line in front of these beds. That's basically where I ran out of gas. But today, we need to continue on, put the drip lines in all each of the beds. Ran out of staples, but I found a bucket of these number 8 wire ones, homemade ones, in the back of the garden shed. Must have been from a previous owner at some point. But I'm thinking if I cut this in half, I can actually shape these to be about the same as something like this. They'll work fine for these, so put them down for now. So I'll do that as we work along. you want to do that bed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, the sun is insane.
It's not even summer yet.
I'm dying.
Oh,
And it's easy to start off with the irrigation, make your tea, because then you know how long you can do these little bits. That makes sense?
so do this bit first.
Yeah, because with those other beds I was working this way and then I sort of got to here and then I had to work back to it. So if I can just start there, work the way back.
Yep.
Give you a race.
No, you're like 4 beds ahead of me. So.
Bend. Bend. Ooh. It's a bit ugly.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
The child has an axe.
What? Jesus Christ. Hey, no. What are you doing? Don't play with that. Ah. It's pretty heavy, eh? It is heavy.
You ready for this? I don't even know where it goes.
See those notches on the side?
These?
Hey,
These?
open it up.
Okay.
See how it opens up?
Yeah.
Yeah. And put it in.
How long?
Put it at the bend. Cut it at the bend.
Alright. Here we go.
And then right at the base of your handle, you got more leverage. Oh, come on.
Got lady hands.
You didn't even try.
Because I hurt my finger. Ow!
Valen.
Do you know what? I'm going to use leverage.
Watch your knuckles.
Oh, maybe it's not a good idea.
That would have hurt.
Oh,
Did you get it?
yeah. Yeah. I got it.
So it's been a couple of days since the last clip when I was hustling to get everything done right before work. Ran out of cable ties for the irrigation. So I ended up finishing for the day, going to work, getting up early yesterday, got some cable ties and then finished that off. Went to set up the pump so I could trial everything and turned it on. Instantly noticed the sound of the pump and knew straight away it wasn't working properly. And I don't know why. When I initially set it up a few days ago, why I thought this was going to be sufficient for a pump that is going to can potentially pump out 3,000 litres at a time, or during an hour's period. A 13 mil outlet's just not going to cut it, so it was putting a lot of strain on the pump to try and draw it through that little hole. Ran to Bunnings and had to make up a makeshift jig here from the outlet of the IBC using this rubber. I'm not even entirely sure what this thing is, but it works perfectly. It's got an inner diameter and the outer diameter piece that slots around the actual outlet of the IBC. And then I've hose clamped it to that. I've then put a straight coupling into there, and then a reducer coupling, and then a bigger filter that is rated for 3,000 litres at a time per hour. So we'll see how that works. Fingers crossed it works. We can hook it up and test the irrigation today. So the pump definitely sounds a lot better than what it did yesterday when I tried to do it. Now we're just going to wait for the water to come through. Just hoping, because these drip emitters are rated to 100 kPa, but the pressure will drop as with every fitting it has to pass through and the distance it has to travel. So will 100 kPa right at the pump be enough at the end of the system? I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that out. I can hear it slowly coming through. So we've got supply to the potato bed, supply to where the beetroots are. There is, oh, we're at the furthest spot now. Wicked. this would be the furthest spot in the system. This is where the natives will be going, right in the corner of the backyard. And there's a good consistent little drip going on there. So we may have actually did something. One way to test it is get a litre container or a gallon container, wherever you are and whatever measurements you use. Put it under the emitter, leave it for an hour or even 10 minutes. See how much it fills within that time. If you do it in 10 minutes, then times the 10 by 6, or the amount you got by 6. And that will give you a clearer representation of whether your system is working properly at its furthest point or not. And that's the irrigation done. While it was going, I got a litre jug and put it under an emitter that was at not necessarily the furthest point away from the pump itself, but it was an emitter that by the time the water got to it ran through a lot of 13mm tube. So the smaller the diameter of the tube, the more resistance the water is going to get to, which will slow it down. And it still was just shy of 2 litres an hour. So it's still working really well. The whole system works really well. Leave it for a few more days, make sure there's no leaks from any of the fittings we've put in, and then I will dig all the 19mm tube into the ground and tidy it up where it goes into the beds, because I've left the tubing sitting proud over the top of the bed. Once it goes into the ground, it'll be either flush. I'm more heading towards bringing it down a little bit lower and drilling a hole just below the top of the bed so it goes through. So before you start any project like this, you need to decide what kind of application you're going to use, whether it be drip tube or sprinkler or whatever. Then determine the rate of flow from those emitters or sprinklers, and then the spacings you're going to have throughout your garden and how many you're going to have in each garden bed throughout your property. From there, you can times the amount of water those emitters will use or a sprinkler will use over a set period, and then times that by how many you've got. And that will give you a good figure of the kind of demand that the system's going to need per hour, and then make sure either your house supply, which generally should be pretty good anyway, or the pump that you're going to use is going to be able to supply it. So the pump we've got is 3,000 litres an hour, so it's more than enough to cover this area. My biggest worry was just restricting that flow down to 100 kPa, and that not being able to travel the distance, but it worked out fine. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one.